How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 138. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? In all honesty, I absolutely love this chapter. I think this chapter was phenomenal, and I absolutely believe that this week's chapter will play a huge factor in the future of the story, because this week's chapter answered a big question that me and the rest of the fandom have been asking since part 1, which was, what happened to the hybrids after, Denji fought Makima alongside all of them? And this week's chapter, it gives us an answer, and we see what exactly, what happened to them. And the biggest takeaway about the whole thing was that now we have a confirmation, which is that they're alive. Now, we don't know exactly how that came to be, but somehow they're alive. Now, I don't know exactly how they're alive, but however, we do know that they managed to survive, at least from what we see in this chapter and what was presented in this chapter. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter picks up where we left off last time, which is pretty much, Denji and the girl, they're crossing each other's eyes, they're looking at each other, there's a stare down. And at first there's some tension. You're thinking to yourself like, oh, they're gonna strike each other. Like, is this, because last week's chapter she was like, can I join in? And we assume it was gonna be her trying to fight Denji now. And Denji's all about it. Denji's ready to fight her. And I don't know where you see this guy, one of the guys that got beat up last chapter. He pulls out a gun, and it looks like he's gonna shoot Denji. Now, while the guy pulls out the gun, we see that the chick actually throws the bat that she was holding at the guy, saving Denji from being shot. And that was a big moment. I know a lot of people were questioning what her intentions were, previously, and it looks like going forward we now know that her intentions are good, at least in the sense that she's there, not to harm Denji but to actually protect him. And we see that that gets clarified because Denji's like, aren't you gonna fight me? And she's like, no. He's like, I thought you were my enemy. He's like, no. And Denji proceeds to just tell her like, yeah, I thought you were my enemy because obviously when I was fighting all these people, you were just minding your own business singing the karaoke song like nothing happened. And she's like, well, I wasn't gonna like cut mid song. And Denji's like, what the dude, are you serious? And then just to top things off, we see that Yoshida in the background shows up, and Yoshida's like, hey. And Denji's like, oh my god, what does this guy want? And I just find it hilarious that every time Yoshida shows up, Denji's just telling himself like, oh my god, what does this loser want? Like please leave me alone, dude. I just want to live a peaceful life. Just get on my side. And we see that Yoshida clarifies, and he just tells Denji like, yeah, she's not your enemy. She's actually sent because of I sent her. She's actually a devil hunter. And that was my theory. I thought that she was definitely in on it with Yoshida, and this absolutely clarified it. And not just that, we find out that she's not even a high school student. She is a grown woman, a 22-year-old grown woman. And we see that she's there to protect Denji, apparently according to Yoshida's orders. And that's when we see Yoshida like even ask her like, hey, weren't you supposed to protect Denji? And that's when she proceeds to tell, Yoshida, well, what I just told you guys, which was that she didn't want to stop, singing. She wanted to continue singing. And you know what? Props to her. She wanted to sing that song, and she sang it. And I can't wait to watch the anime and see the scene because it's going to be outrageous. And I just can't wait to see it. But what we see is that pretty much Yoshida's just like, yeah, she's gonna be there to protect you, and Denji's like, oh well, I guess. And then the chick is just like, she genuinely looks like she's simping over Denji, and she's like, wow, you were so amazing there. And she was like, you're really the Chainsaw Man, but like you didn't even have to turn into Chainsaw Man to beat them all up. You're really awesome. And he's like, listen, lady, I've been through this before. You're leading me on. Yeah, like I don't want anything to do with you because you're red flags. Okay, I know you're just in it because like you probably just like you want something out of it. Like you probably want something to do about Chainsaw Man. And she's like, no, I genuinely think you're awesome. And it's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I just think you're cool. It's like because you're Chainsaw Man. And like she's not there to like, at least from what I understood is that she's definitely. She has some, fascination towards Denji and Chainsaw Man. And my only advice to Denji would be that, hey, strap your seatbelt in because this chick's about to take you to a wild ride in one way or another. Because this chick definitely, is simping for either Denji or Chainsaw Man or both. Who knows? But we've seen this rodeo before where a grown woman is trying to get at Denji. So is this Himeno 2.0? We don't know. I mean, as long as she doesn't throw up on him, I think we should all be, fine, right? But what happens after that is that we see, we catch up with what Asa's doing, and we see that Asa is just, minding in bed. She's just minding her business, and you see that she's just watching TV, just, chilling. And you see that in TV, they're talking about her, the the TV stations are talking about like, you know, this beautiful young devil huntress, and they're talking about Asa, and then, you know, how she's been doing a great job, you know, killing all these devils. And Yoru's like, wow, you've been getting really like famous now. And Asa's like, yeah, but like I don't even want to be famous. And like she's like, you know, she's like, nah, like, you know, the invasion of privacy that comes out of it, you know, like it's just tacky. I don't want the fame. And Yoru was like, yeah, like I guess, right? You're right, probably. And you just see Asa like towards the end is like, yeah, what's so good about being famous anyway? And you just see her like looking at the TV, and you can obviously tell that she's obviously getting off to this attention. She is definitely, you know, gloating about like being quote unquote famous, which if that's the case, we absolutely know that, you know, at times Asa gets very conceited and very like, she's just a conceited person at times. And I would love to see that all this fame gets to her head and how she would change or react to it. Like she probably would just, you know, she would just probably think she's the greatest thing ever. And I would just find it to be a funny thing if, you know, you see her just eventually transform into like a spoiled rich brat girl, where, you know, she feels the entitlement and the, you know, like of just being like, yeah, I'm the greatest thing ever, okay, and like you guys suck. Like I would just love to see Asa like just confidently doing that in the street, and, you know, get the fame to her head, you know, get all that fame to her head, and it would be just the funniest thing. I could just see that already playing out. But while all that is happening, we see that, you know, Denji, we catch up with what he's doing, and we see that he's looking at the poster of Asa, and it's this poster of Asa and just kind of like promoting her. And you see Denji just kind of like, oh my god, this chick is taking my attention, like what is this? And while that's happening, you see a shadowy figure like in a hoodie, and he's just starting to talking to Denji. He's like, wow, it's crazy how like this random chick, you know, out of nowhere just shows up, and like, you know, she's being compared to Chainsaw Man, and, you know, she's being talked about in a positive way. And, you know, he's just trying to like tell, like pretty much telling Denji like, man, this chick is trying to steal your cloud, right? And one thing I wanted to note is that he says that this chick apparently, you know, she spawns scars whenever like she's fighting devils or something like that. So now it's like, you know, I'm curious now, because it's like, is Yoru's like transformation when she takes over Asa like genuinely her like you can see visibly like scars on her face, or is it something that has always been there, like even back when she meets Yoshida? So that's something to, you know, is it a plot hole? If I had to guess, it's probably, you know, yeah, it is a plot hole, either that or maybe Yoru's manifesting herself even deeper now into, you know, Asa, where there's more physical change, where you can actually see the scars, because maybe they're getting closer and closer together, like in the sense that they're, you know, getting to know each other more, therefore they're coexisting even, you know, farther. Who knows? But I just thought that was a fascinating thing to note. But what happens is this guy keeps talking to Denji, and Denji's like, dude, like, leave me alone. Like, who are you, dude? And what we find out is that, you know, this guy's like, wow, dude, you don't remember me? I mean, we did meet very briefly, but we did meet, but wow, I can't believe you forgot about me. It's like, dude, who are you? Like, get out of my face. Like, who are you, dude? It's like, fine. I guess you, he's like, what's your name? It's like, I guess you can just call me Sword Man. And you just see this guy take off his hood, and we obviously see is the sword hybrid from what we saw in part 1, which is a huge confirmation of, you know, like, yeah, he survived. The hybrids apparently survive. At least, listen, I'm ingesting that copium right now, that hopium, because if he's alive, right, hear me out, what is there to say that the other ones aren't? I mean, we know that the hybrids, they have like a healing factor, and we never seen actually one of them quote unquote die. The closest one was Rize, and even then she came back to fight Denji along with the other, you know, hybrids, which was Katana Man and, you know, the Guanchi and all that. So who is there to say that, you know, Rize and the rest of the, you know, the hybrids are alive? I think they are, and I think that what Swordman's gonna do is actually, you know, recruit Denji to, you know, their team, because that's what I'm guessing. And I think another thing that would make sense to the narrative is actually having Rize back, because, like, you know, Denji right now is down, and, you know, he did make a promise to Nayuta, like, you know, he wouldn't love Asa. So what is there to say that maybe Rize shows up again, is like, hey, you know, an old flame of mine, like, you never said anything about her. I know I'm overdosing right now on hopium, because I want Rize to show up. She's an awesome character, and I would love to see her back. And now seeing the sword hybrid, you know, be, you know, completely alive, is, like I said, it's only fair to assume that the other ones are like that too. So maybe we see Quan Chi, Katana Man, and the rest of the gang, and that'd be pretty cool. I'm just saying, man, hear me out. All of them, you know, fighting against, you know, the Nostradamus apocalypse. That'd be pretty awesome. I mean, you guys would be pretty hype about it, because I know I would be pretty hyped to just see Quan Chi and the rest of the gang show up. Katana Man and Denji teaming up, insane. But with all that being said, I thought this chapter was fantastic, and once again, Fujimoto has been absolutely killing it with every chapter, and this chapter was just fire. If I had to put it in simplest terms, it was just fantastic. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? What did you guys thought? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.